another episode of our Sunday's watch list. Last week, I had called out this play right here, STZ. You can go check it out. And we got it. We saw this little formation that caused a bounce at the bottom. It bottomed out. As we can see, it was very low, oversold. And we also had this gap that it went to fill. I banked over $3,000 on this play. All right. So this watch list can be successful. You got to utilize your tools, and you also got to find the right contracts to make these plays. All right. So I'm trying to give you the tools, trying to give you all the things you need to make money in this market by utilize options. All right. So on this Sunday's watch list, I have 5 new plays for you all. Hopefully we can bank some good money this week as well. The last 2 weeks, I have banked over $7,000 off my watch list. So please stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. Hopefully I'm helping you out to make some money in this market, all for free game. So if you like what you hear, you like what you see, if you're making any money, make sure you subscribe, share, like. All right. So the number one play I have this week is ticker symbol CHWY and CHWY. All right. So CHWY is a brand that is for pets and dogs, dog foods. And if you watch my watch list, I'm always looking for these plays that's bouncing off this 200-day moving average. And this 200-day moving average is very strong. It is very powerful. Okay. So it can be pretty much like a trampoline. It can bounce off of that over and over. So as we're looking right here, and we have our 26-day moving average, as we can see this solid white line, and it's in between this 26-day and the 200-day moving average. So as we're looking right here, it has been broken through and it needs to come through, but I don't believe that it has enough power. But I do see this formation of a solid support line that has been created. And if we can break through this 26-day moving average, I can see us go ahead and make this movement up to the resistance at 86. So we're at 84. That's a nice $2 move and possibly more throughout the week. So I'll possibly find this with some time and you can make some money, but for sure I can see us touching this resistance level right here. It has touched this plenty of times, came back down to this 200, and this 200 can give some support, and it becomes a trampoline, and it can give us a nice little bounce to break that resistance level up top. All right, so CHWY is the number one play that I have on here for today. Our second play that we have is FEYE. So ticker symbol FEYE. So we check that out. Also, you see this is again, we see this 200-day moving average, and it's the proof is in the pudding. All right. So if you see this 200-day moving average, it's going to break it with force, so it's going to bounce off of it with force. I see plenty of volume. As we can see this line right here, this is the average volume line, the yellow. And then we come down here and looking at this volume at the end of closing on Friday, we see this volume above average. So this above average volume can utilize this 26-day moving average as a nice little support level, as a bounce. So we can see this come back up towards its resistance level above about 21. I like a 22 call on this play. So I also see that 22 call is a reasonable price. Also is reasonable price, also has some decent volume on there. So make sure you check that volume open interest. You want that at least to be at about 40 to 60% off. You can catch a couple things below on low volume, but make sure the discrepancy is not too big. All right. So FEYE is our number 2 play. And I believe this can come up and touch this resistance level as well, around 2103, or possibly break this if you get some time in it for a week or two. All right. So our third play we have for the week is ticker symbol MGM. For those of you all that love to go to casinos, I just go ahead and started booking me a flight to Vegas for this summer. So it's going to make an uprise. We can see it made a high last week and the week before of above $42. Right now we have 41.11. We at this 200-day moving average. We have good volume down here, very bullish. And the same way we see that we saw on CHWY, we see the same little formation coming. We at the 200 and the 26 day moving average. And also this play is about to go parabolic. So these little white lines, as I said before, is our parabolic stars. And we can see right here is going to create a level of resistance right around 41.58, but that is a nice $1.50 move before we hit any resistance. But if we touching this 200-day moving average, once we get off of it, if it breaks it or bounce, it breaks or bounce with any power. We can even see right here as we back test, we see this 200-day moving average broke through, had some power, and you can see a movement from 38 all the way up to 42. So that was a nice movement a couple weeks ago. And then also you can see a bounce that came right here that went from 35 up to 38. So we can possibly see a $2 to $3 move on this bounce as we go up, and we can continue this strong volume. I'll say that. But for us new traders, we always want to set this line of resistance, make sure it's break that resistance level. It just came down and filled this gap that we have right here. So if we look right here, we had a gap. Remember, gaps about 90% of the time, most companies want to make sure those gaps get filled. And this company for sure basically is respecting that gap. So what it did was come back down, filled this gap over here, and now we're getting a little support level on this 200-day. We may try to see if we can use this as a trampoline. I would love to see a nice little pullback back to the 200 and then break through. But if not, I want to make sure it breaks this level of support and then breaks over this 26-day moving average and head up to 41 and beyond on this play. All right. So I have two bonus plays. These is kind of be a little reasonable price. You can make a little pretty decent change, but you also got to think about we're not looking for how much money we can make on a return. We're looking for percentages. So what we look for on this play is Comcast CMCSA. All right, so this right here is going to be almost to a day trade possibly, and you can get a weekly on this. You can get a weekly. I like a 55 or 54 puts. All right, these are put plays, so I'm thinking this is going to drop below. So remember, I said this 200-day moving average is pretty strong. You see, it broke this 26-day moving average and headed up, but it hit a nice resistance right here on this 200-day moving average. So it has hit this resistance several times before. It had touched once, came back down, touched twice, came back down. So this is how you can play this, and this can be two plays in one. You have to pay attention very carefully. All right, this possibly could be two plays in one. We're going to come back down. It's going to fill this gap. As I said, we like to try to find those gaps to get filled. So possibly a day trade or a trade that you may keep overnight, but I don't think it has enough power. It has burnt out because it just made a movement from 53 all the way up to 55. For Comcast, that is a nice bullish move right there. So right here, this is what you can do. You can buy into a $54 or $55 put. I believe both of those are under about $50, and it can possibly be a weekly for this week, and it might be a day trade or maybe just an overnight swing based on what it does. But also, this is going to has to break the support level. So once you start seeing it come down, it's going to break through, come down, and possibly bounce off this 26-day. Once after that, I will get out of it, but be very careful. Make sure you let it fill that gap and then go and get out that play. So you'll set your alert right here, right before it fills, somewhere right there, and you'll add your alert. And make sure when you add your alert, make sure you get those notifications sent to your phone, email, text message, however it is that's going to be convenient for you to make sure you get out these plays, because we don't want to sit and watch Comcast all day. All right. So I think this is what's going to happen. But once it breaks that level and comes back down here, touch this 26-day moving average, I can clearly believe that it's going to happen with a bounce coming back up and breaking the 200. So usually you have these rules where they say it's a 3 bounce rule. We see right here, it came up, tried to break it, came back down, built a little support, dropped a little bit more, then burnt up, went up and touched this 200-day. I believe it's going to come down, find some support at that 26-day moving average, consolidate and bounce. So you can play the put on this play for a weekly for pretty much almost like a day trade to set your alert. So once it start making its way back down during the day, makes it breaks that. If it breaks that support level, comes down fill, you can get out of it. Okay. But also, if you don't want to play the put, you can wait for this to fill. You can set alert right around here. And once it fills, we can go and get in this play. Make sure you get you a couple weeks on this. And I would get this for possibly a 55. So you can find it, get it right here at 54, get like a $55, $56 call, give yourself a week or two, not a weekly, but 2 weeks out on this play. And then our last play, also this will be a little affordable contracts. Also, you'll get some decent time with these. And it is Jet Blue, JBLU ticker symbol. And these contracts should not cost too much, but this is what I see. This is also creating such what like a wedge pattern. And we can see that its breakout is going to come out. So it's coming through. You see this wedge pattern coming through. It's came down, bounced off that level, and we can see it's coming through. It might come through and break out at the bottom, but I can see it making a move upwards after that. So I want to see, for us to be safe, I would want to set alert right around here, around that 200-day moving average. And that way, once it breaks it, like we see it, the same thing. We see our 26 day, it's going to break that 26 day. And then we also make its way up to 21. So I would like a $23 call. Those have a lot of volume and they are very cheap. They're probably about $25 a piece. So this is a low risk play because you're only risking about $26. And if it makes this move up to 21 to 2170, where the resistance level is up here, you pretty much get 100% return. So you could pay $25 and get about a $22 to $28 return based on that movement if you can catch the right contract at the right time. So these moving averages are crossing, but you want to make sure your 8-day moving average, which is the light yellow, is going to cross above all these moving averages and stay above. Okay. So when we stay above these moving averages, we have us a bullish movement. Okay. So we can see bullish movement over here to the side. So I'm trying to just give y'all a little knowledge so that way you can be successful in the market. Last week, like I said, pretty much all my plays on the watch list made a good move and was positive, but STZ was with the win with a $14 move, and I banked over $3K for it. So I want to make sure you all tap in and take flight. So make sure you stay tuned to our Sunday watch list. Subscribe, share, like. I want to try to help everybody as I can. All right. Until next week, follow me, tap in, and let's take flight.